Hi, my name is Hanna, and today we have our US tax expert Derren. We also have our US real estate and legal expert Jay. We will be discussing US real estate forensic. Hai, nama saya Hanna. Hari ini kami memiliki pakar pajak Amerika Serikat kami Derren. Kami juga memiliki pakar real estate dan hukum Amerika Serikat kami Jay. Dan kami akan membahas forensik real estate Amerika Serikat.
This podcast channel is about you, successful international entrepreneurs, successful expats, successful investors. Sponsored by ACCA.tax.
Hi, my name is Hanna and I'm from Indonesia, and currently I'm working with US tax firm. And today we will talk about US real estate forensic with Jay Knight and Derren Joseph. Would you please introduce yourself, Derren?
Thank you, Hannah. So this would be the third installment in our series on U.S. real estate for Asian investors. My name is Derren Joseph, and I'm a tax professional. Our team does international tax in general, but U.S. international in particular. And in this context, we are talking about Asian investors into U.S. real estate.
Jay?
All right, thanks Hannah and Derren. Thanks for having me here again. It's great to be back. Yeah, my name is Jay Knight. I'm a licensed real estate broker from the state of California, and I work with Asian investors who want to pathway to deal with someone in America to help them purchase property. So that's a little bit about my background, and yeah, looking forward to our discussion tonight.
So, would you please introduce the case, Derren?
Right, so we did some searching in some online databases, legal databases, where you can, because when a matter is taken before court in the US, for the most part, exceptions of course, but for the most part, they're a matter of public record. So we're going to talk about a relatively prominent Indonesian family who invested into attempted or has invested into U.S. real estate. We won't name names, we don't want to embarrass anyone. Everything is freely available online, but we don't want to use any names in this conversation because it'll be distracting. What we want to do is focus on what happened and perhaps the lessons that would be learned that would be applicable to anyone. Okay?
Yeah, sure. And do you have anything to add, Jay?
Oh, sounds good.
Okay. All right, cool. So Jay, I mean, this is your wheelhouse. So do you want to paint the scene?
All right. Yeah, this was a very tragic situation, although it probably isn't all that uncommon. If we did a little bit more searching, I'm sure that we would find quite a few of these. And basically, it is real estate scam 101. Maybe not that egregious because we don't know the actual intent of the in this case, the defendants, but it sure seems like that from an outside look. And basically what happened was a very well-to-do Indonesian family had invested some money after going to a real estate seminar that was held in Indonesia. And they were convinced to basically invest some money in what would be a limited partnership, which that limited partnership would then buy bulks of properties in the state of Michigan in America. And as a result of this limited partnership and the amount that they invested, which was going to be over $1 million, they were promised that they would be granted some sort of a visa that would allow them a pathway towards a green card and then future residency. So that was really the impetus to this whole case. Was they wanted to invest the money, and they were very enticed by the fact that they were promised high returns and good investments, and also that they would have a pathway to this residency in America. So that's kind of like the outlining area of what happened, right? So maybe you want to add a little bit more, but that's kind of it in a nutshell in terms of the overview.
Okay, sounds good.
And now we will talk about escrow. So I think in this problem, Jay know more about it. So Jay, please.
Yeah, okay, so escrow, we did a whole segment on escrow in one of the last videos. So if you haven't seen that one, go back and check it out. But escrow is a really critical component to a real estate transaction, and especially when you're talking about people that are trying to invest from overseas. And why is it so vital? It's because escrow, as I alluded to before, it is actually a third-party component to the transaction. So you have the buyer, you have the seller, but then you have a third party that's not related to either one party. And they have their own fiduciary responsibility to both parties. So in this case that we've talked about, it was really something that was overlooked because the investors in this case, they're probably not that familiar with how real estate works in America. And they kind of got bamboozled in a sense, because what they did was they were talked into by the investment company to wire the investment funds directly to them, to the investment company, which again, yes, they were under the idea that this investment company was going to take those funds and then buy properties. But the way properties are actually bought, even if you buy them in bulk, is that they have to go through, or they should go through, an escrow company. And it's such a key component that I can't overstate, because if they would have sent the monies directly to an escrow company, that escrow company has a legal obligation to hold those monies in a separate account that the investment company couldn't touch. And so if the investment company didn't live up to what their agreement was, if they had a written agreement, which in this case they did, if the investment company didn't live up to that obligation, whatever it was, the escrow company would then have a legal duty to send the monies back to the investors. But that's not what happened in this case. And that was really the crux of how they lost their money, because there was no escrow company. They sent the money directly to the investors, who did whatever they did with it and took the money, whatever it was. And so when they wanted to get the money back, they didn't really have any real way to get it back, because those were scammers, or at least, you know, the idea is that they might have been scammers. So understanding that escrow is an extremely important part, that the escrow company works for both parties, but it's an independent party that's not hand in hand working with one or the other. So this is really important, and this was the key element to this case. So red flag, I guess the point to take away from this is that if you see any kind of advertisement and they're enticing you and they're asking you to send the money that you're investing directly to them and not to an escrow company, like Derren said earlier, don't walk, run, okay? Because that is going to be a red flag for a scam.
Okay. So, Derren, do you have anything to add?
No, Jay said it all.
Okay. Thank you for your both. We'll see you again soon.